Hey, hey. All right, guys, welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and just jump on in, and we're going to get a little peek at whatever's going on for Gemini. Geminis, this is more about the next adventure, okay? So we've got the sacred feminine, which is the Empress, Libra Taurus energy. This is actually really beautiful. Somebody could be having a bit of a spiritual awakening. We've got some sacred geometry here. We have kind of like Our Lady of Guadalupe being depicted there, or perhaps the Madonna. Maybe somebody listens to Madonna music. I'm hearing Just Like a Prayer. I'll take you there. Love that song. Huge amount of like feminine vibes in this storyline. And we have her driving her car that says Cosmic on the license plate. We've got this divine feminine here in this chariot. This is our Cancerian vibe, but there's something very, I'll say like maybe Gemini is connecting more fully to the energy and the power of the divine feminine. Now, what that means, it could mean that Gemini is about to, give birth to some new creative idea. It could mean that Gemini's on the cusp of moving, transforming their life, giving rise to the next chapter of their life. And this could be really exciting. This could be a chapter that is going to be filled with, adventures and ideas and reinventing themselves. Wow. And definitely addressing a heartbreak. This is a triumph over heartbreak, hurt, pain. I'm going to say what I'm getting off of this is that this is a Gemini who got hurt and they said, this is not going to define me. This will not be my whole life story. I'm moving on. They could have been wounded by a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. And this Gemini said, I have the power to heal me. Mastery of Cups. This is normally a King of Cups, but they put a feminine on this card. So our Gemini is in an energy of like divine masculine and feminine energies within themselves, healing like a mother wound or healing a father wound. They are very, I'll even say they're seeing the bigger picture. Gemini perhaps has understood that something that deeply disappointed them, hurt them, or betrayed them, they may be seeing it from the bigger perspective and saying, I give myself forgiveness that I endured that. There are people that are broken, and then sometimes they break us a little bit too. But you know what? I have the power to heal me. I have the power to rebirth me. I am, in this case, the divine feminine, and I can recalibrate my masculine and feminine energies so that I am the most resilient and the best energies of both. I am sensitive and strong. I am the sun and the moon. I heal, I regenerate. This is amazing. I think in this storyline, it's very specific. We have a Gemini who could be changing where they live, changing their job, changing their function, changing everything about their life. I feel like this is coming pretty soon. We're in still the twilight phase, like the new dawn hasn't come forward and illuminated what's changing exactly. We see Gemini like in the midst of their transformation in this story. But you know what? That's who cares about the next dawn. Our Gemini is shining like a star. They work best in the darkest hours. Okay, so Gemini, this is very poetic the way it's coming out, but Gemini is an incredibly powerful, beautiful, divine feminine, somebody very sweet, somebody very like energetically available, energetically very loving, and really ready and able to like share that kind of love with the world. They are rising as a star. They are changing something big in their life. They are transferring their energy into something new. 5 of Coins. They're leaving behind a place where there really wasn't growth. They're leaving behind an old, outdated version of themselves. It didn't make them happy. And they are rising. We've got the 6 of Cups and we have got the Hanged Man, both sideways. So 6 of Cups and Hangman, that's all about like no more delays, no more accepting less than I'm worth. I'm ready for soulmate energy. I'm ready for a connection to whatever this is going to make me really happy. And I know it's out there and I know I can find it. I do feel like Gemini is moving, changing a job, changing a wardrobe, changing something about how they do things. And They haven't landed yet where they belong because they're overshooting what they were looking for. I think Gemini has used pain and hurt as their huge motivator to push themselves into the next chapter of their life. Is going to be a lot better. But even they are going to be surprised that they overshoot their mark. They're going to have a way better life than what they were even planning on. I don't know that Gemini is like really saying, I'm ready to meet a soulmate. Why not meet an emperor? Why not meet Two of Cups? Why not go a little higher, right? And I almost feel like that's why Gemini's like, now that I'm on this trajectory of healing, changing some things in my life, why don't I go a little bit bigger? I keep finding that I'm having success. This could be Gemini looks for a new job, puts out a resume in 5 places, and one of them they just did on a lark. They're like, well, probably this Fortune 500 companies that's got, great benefit package, 401k, 3 weeks paid vacation is probably not going to hire me. And then instead they get the call back. Then go for it. They're willing to pay me to move me. I didn't expect to receive this. Go for it. It feels like that's the kind of stuff where there's something about Gemini and the way they decided to change their life, but not even they realized just what a hot commodity they are, just how far they can go, just how much better their life can get. I feel like it starts with the internal self. I'm worthy of more. I deserve more. I will change my circumstances. I will change my stars. And sure enough, as Gemini starts to change their stars, maybe they were very humbly saying, maybe I'll just move back to a town that I used to live in, in a couple months. No. Gemini is getting like an offer that'll make all of this move better, easier. Maybe they'll wind up in a much more luxurious place. They get to live someplace fabulous. It's like when you set a goal inside yourself or acknowledge like, I deserve better than I have received. I believe that to the core of my soul. I deserve better. That's when the universe is like, yes, now you're telling me what I want to hear. Now you're telling me that you want more. Now I can deliver. Hermit in the reverse. This Gemini is not going to be single much longer. This Gemini is going to be somebody who is very visible all of a sudden. I keep feeling like they're going to have new people around them, new energies around them. Seriously, we just got the Empress again. I don't know if our Gemini has ever been so sought after before, so attractive before, made to feel so respected. I think that's the thing that they haven't had, but that's what's coming in for them now. It's that Gemini has unveiled the truest version of themselves, the best version of themselves. Gemini is this glowing, gorgeous, empowered, and lovely version of them. I just think it's been a long time since Gemini found something like this. King of Wands. This is somebody who would go to great lengths to be with Gemini. Now they could be a Leo, Sag, or Aries. If Gemini is moving and they're ending up in a new area, and I do feel like they're moving somewhere in this storyline. This is a Gemini who's relocating. But if they are moving and ending up in a new area, I have to say this person, this King of Wands, they too could be, maybe they meet Gemini as Gemini's passing through or something, but they're willing to travel to go see Gemini. They're willing to change their life to get into Gemini's world. That's what I mean when I say I don't know if Gemini will have ever been such a hot commodity. Be the person that someone is like, are you kidding? I don't want to let you slip away. I got to get to that Gemini. Or if this is a business or a boss, I don't want to let this amazing Gemini and their great resume slip away. Let's create a position for them. Let's get them in here. We have our King of Wands again. So this is a feminine on this, but this is both the King of Wands card. We got a double dose of King of Wands. I think this is exactly what Gemini has deserved for a long time, is to be loved so well. I'm hearing that song, I Want to Be Loved Like That. I don't know who sings that. Sometimes I think it's John Michael Montgomery. Sometimes I think it's Vince Gill. And I think I'm wrong on both. But it's a great love song. A promise you can't take back. If you're going to love me, I want to be loved like that. That is exactly what Gemini is getting. they're going to be not just loved and cherished by a romantic partner, but I think the kinds of relationships Gemini wants, they want to be respected. Well, that's what Gemini is going to be now. Their days of getting shortchanged, of accepting people that aren't respectful, or of dealing with people that don't have the amount of like love to show or offer, those days are over. Gemini is receiving. Finally, they're receiving in their life. I am very pleased for this Gemini. I feel like we're probably going to do, I don't know, we'll do another storyline later. It may not be Gemini specific, but I'm about to start a new series that I will be putting out that's going to be maybe one where I will pull a card for each zodiac at the end. And Geminis, you guys are the first that I'm announcing this to, but I think I'm going to start doing an extra video and make it just a little bit more personalized, because I feel like sometimes in a week it's really hard to get every zodiac 2 videos, and I'd like to make sure that we still get a touch base on different big topics. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to start doing that. So anyway, watch for that, Gemini. I will keep you guys informed, but I think that's probably going to start tonight. So Geminis, you might actually get a second little message tonight in another video. Okay. So, all right. Lots of love. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.